Welcome to a mini soul session. Now, I'm just going to explain to you what a soul session is. So, soul session is a membership that I have people to join. It's a monthly membership, and it's where we go on our own spiritual journey. I share ideas and concepts, and I use light language activations and hypno-meditations to shift your energy. So what we're having today is kind of like a taster, a mini soul session, because I've had people ask me, what is it about? What do you do there? It's about me sharing different concepts, different spiritual ideas, and allowing you to dig deeper within yourself, whether it's working on old aspects of ourselves, parts, shadow work, inner child work. And we're using light language and hypno-meditations to really allow you to flourish and expand your consciousness. And each month I release 60-minute videos where I explain concepts and ideas for about half of the session. And the second half is either an activation with light language or a hypno-meditation with light language. And there's a specific theme for each month. So in this mini soul session, today's theme is going to be me explaining what light language is so that you understand it. I want to talk about shifting because it's the new buzzword that's happening at the moment. And I want to share with you what it means for you and how you can actually relate to it. Then I'm going to give you a light language activation with what we've been talking about. And if you have any questions, pop them down in the comments and I'll answer them for you. So this is a taster, a mini soul session of what I do for my membership soul sessions. So what is light language? Now, I stumbled into light language in my 30s. It was activated within me in my 30s, but it wasn't until maybe 8 years later that I actually started working with it with clients and people. So light language is a multidimensional frequency that's spoken in sound. It can sound like gibberish, can sound like you're like, what are you saying? It's not about what you're saying. It's frequency and sound. It's how we receive it. So if you imagine the crystal bowls when you go to a meditation or the gongs when you go to a gong bath, that is frequency and sound. Certain music is frequency. All music is frequency, but certain music accesses and taps into our higher consciousness to allow us to begin expanding it. And that's the spiritual journey that Soul Sessions is all about, expanding our consciousness and awareness of self to create an awareness of what's happening around us. So I use light language with all my clients that are very open to it. Some aren't, and that's okay. I'll use energy work, or I'll use light codes. And you can see a light code behind me. It's a canvas painting that I've designed. I have lots of different canvas paintings. I love light codes. So light codes is light language that's written. You'll see when I do light language at the end that I'm drawing specific codes because they don't need to be spoken to be received either. I have light code mugs. This mug is integration. It's integrating the left and right brain, integrating the masculine and the feminine. And what it does is it allows me to have clear focus, opens my third eye. And I do this when I need to do writing or when I'm doing things like this. This one behind me is heart and soul journey. It allows you to go back to the depths of your soul while you feel held by your heart space. It is very beautiful to have in your bedroom while you're sleeping, and it allows you to shift, again, the buzzword, and remember when you consciously ask for it before you go to sleep. So that's light language. You can use it all the time. And if you want to experience more light language that I've recorded, I have ASMR light language tracks. They're on YouTube under videos. I've got about 7 or 8 of them that you can use. So that's light language, and I absolutely love it. I play a lot of it in the background of my home. My plants love it, and my animals love it. So the next part that we're going to talk about is shifting. Shifting is about, in the spiritual realm, we talk about shifting, about I want to shift, I want to jump, I want a quantum leap, I want a timeline jump. It's about changing identities. It all begins with shifting our energy, our vibration, our frequency, our concept of who we are. So for me, people get really caught up in the words shifting, quantum jumping, timeline jumping, and they're like, how do you do it? How do you do it? I want to point out that we've been doing it in our lives over and over and over again. There's mini shifts, there's huge shifts, and then there's massive shifts. I want to explain to you where you've been shifting all the time. You've got to think, when we went from primary school to high school or secondary school, there's a shift there. Even if it's the same school that you went to, there's different expectations of you. There's different labels. You feel like a big person when you go into secondary school. Wow, I'm here now. I'm a big person. That is a shift of your identity. If you went to university or straight to work, that is another shift that you've created. Some shifts are difficult. Some of us might have had difficulty going from learning, university, college, school, straight into work, because that is a transition. And you thought of as an adult there, you've got to be responsible. So there's a different concept of who we are. And that comes to shifting is our identity at that point in time. Every time we make new friends or we create a new circle of friends, we are shifting. Every time we've had a different partner, intimate partner, we have shifted. Our circle changes. Every time we've changed homes, every time we've changed jobs, whenever we've traveled, we shift. Have you ever thought that or heard people say, so relaxed on holidays. I don't know why when I come back home, I get all tight and everything changes and I've forgotten what it's like to feel like on the holiday. It's because you shift back into your old identity. Is that making sense now? And when you go on holidays, there's a sense of freedom where you give yourself permission to relax. You don't have the same conceptualized responsibilities. So this is shifting is a concept. And that concept affects our thoughts and our feelings about ourselves. And then that's reflected everywhere in our outside world. That's the energy that we're creating externally. And you've got to remember, what's happening in our outside world is purely a reflection of how we feel and think about ourselves. So if life is a struggle, what are you struggling with internally? If life is challenging, finances are tight, what are your beliefs internally around you deserving money? So this is where I start talking about shifting and going deeper into it. So you've understood that you've been shifting unconsciously in the past, and now you're wanting to shift consciously in the future. Part of shifting is acknowledging different labels and identities. Labels and identities are different aspects of ourselves. They can be beliefs about who we are. They can be dreams and goals that we identify with, who make up who we are. Whenever we shift, we have to let go and move on from certain identities, aspects, and labels of ourselves. I want to explain a label to you. I want you to think of a label as, sometimes you can have a Velcro name badge on a shirt, work shirt or whatever, or you've seen it in movies, you can rip it off and someone else can put their name on there or a different title on there. That's what I want you to think about a label. Your label has your name and your position underneath it. When you change positions, you rip off that label and you put a new one on there with a new positional title. This is shifting. Whenever you get a promotion, you are shifting. But what happens is sometimes we get stuck in between a shift. And that shift causes us a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, and a sense of loss. I keep trying, but nothing's changing. It can be a sabotage pattern. And here is where we need to take on the role and go deeper within ourselves. We might need to do some inner child work. We might need to do some parts work. We might need to do some shadow work or therapy, whatever you want to call it. But we need to dig deeper underneath ourselves because there's an experience attached to some emotions and thoughts that we haven't processed, that we're actually shutting away. And it's like an anchor keeping us in a certain identity or label that we don't need anymore, but we just need to address it. A lot of us don't want to do that work. I know it's not fun. It's not fun, I'm telling you, but it can be so deeply relieving. That's all I can really share with you. And once you've done it a few times, you don't need to be afraid of it. You don't need to be afraid of going so deep within yourself. I have clients or people say to me, I've done enough work. I don't need to do any more. I've done enough. And I'll say, we do it in layers. If it's coming up and it's a trigger, it's asking you to address it. Triggers are just opportunities for us to get to know ourselves better, to heal a part of ourselves, an aspect that hasn't been processed, that we haven't moved through. We haven't found a resolution in that experience. So those thoughts, those ways that we experience it, how we saw that we experienced it, and how we saw that we felt it are stuck and anchored and pulled down. And we're dragging them into our new shift, our new identity. And actually, we just need to let it go. Sometimes we have dreams and goals that we've had for 5, 10, 15, 20 years or longer. And say we were 20 or even 15 when we had that dream and that goal, and we haven't achieved it yet. Makes us feel pretty bad, doesn't it? Makes you feel that you're not good enough. But what we're not looking at is that we have shifted all along the way. And we might not have adapted or changed that dream and goal to who we are today. So we hang on to that old identity again because we think it defines us of whether we're a success or a failure in life. When in actual fact, all we need to do is bring it to the here and now. Either adapt it, change it, drop it, create a new goal, a new dream. There is something I do want to say with letting things go. If it's something that you've held on to as part of who you are, defines you to the core in your heart, and you know it's time to let it go, there is a grieving process. There is the sadness that needs to come up to move through and release it. That is moving through emotions, and that is moving through an experience. That is part of shadow and parts work or inner child or therapy work. And that's what I really encourage you to do. In soul sessions, I have different program series where you can actually dive deep into those aspects of healing those parts of yourselves on a spiritual level, on an energetic level, emotionally, mentally, and physically, because it's stored in our body. And we don't want to hold on to that pain. But remember, as we release it, we feel it at some level. And that is the sadness, the pain, and that is the uncomfortableness that most of us give as a reason that we don't want to dig down deep. But we are abandoning ourselves every time we choose not to do it. Every time a trigger comes up and we go, no, it's not me, it's them, we are abandoning that aspect of ourselves. And that's what can get us stuck in a shift. You've heard of imposter syndrome? You know, you get that dream job that you want. You're in it and you're like, oh my God, I got it. I'm really excited. And then you're like, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, how am I going to do this? I feel like an imposter. I don't feel like I'm good enough for this job. You've created it. You've stepped into it. But you have some old beliefs from the old identity that you haven't let go of to be able to embrace fully, because you have to have embraced some new beliefs to get this opportunity. Let me tell you, so you've already done half the work, but we just need to let go of some of those old beliefs about self-worth to fully embrace and let those new beliefs that got you this job, anchor them down. So you're like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I'm going to learn because I've done it before in the past. I've proven myself all the way in previous roles to this one, and I'm damn well going to get this one. That is inner confidence. That is not the confidence, bravado confidence of, yeah, I've got it. I know what I'm doing. It's like, I will learn this role. I have the tools, the skills, and the capability to do it and do it well. That's inner confidence. And that's around your belief system. So that's what shifting is all about. I mean, like, I've just explained to you how we've shifted all the way through our entire lives to where we are today, and how our understanding of shifting is going to impact you with how you want to move forward shifting. I want you to understand shifting is all about us internally. Our energy, our vibration, our frequency, our thoughts, our feelings, the way we speak to ourselves, whether it's in your head or out loud, the way you encourage yourself, the way you pump yourself up, or whether you choose to drag, or I won't say it's a choice. Sometimes it's on autopilot. You drag yourself down. No, you can't do that. You're not good enough to do that. No, it's going to go wrong. It's going to be a disaster. You've talked yourself out of doing something. I've caught myself doing that. And all you have to do to that part of yourself that's really revved up is just go, shh, shh. Just quieten it down. Practice quietening it down. Really, really important. So how does light language work with shifting? Light language is frequency work. So we're working on your energy, your vibration, your frequency. And whenever we get something fearful within us, what do? We clamp down and tightly contract. A lot of us contract our energy. I mean, some of us get really angry. We use anger as a protection mechanism so we don't feel vulnerable. We don't feel that fear or that pain. And we have an explosion of energy. But we can also have an implosion going in of energy, a collapse. So light language creates a kind of space that's held for you. That's how I'm going to use it today. That's held for you, and that you're going to be able to breathe through. You're going to feel safer exploring an aspect of yourself as you go down, as you go a little bit deeper. You don't have to go all the way down to the core if you haven't done this work again. Just go a couple of layers deeper than you normally do. And I want you to just acknowledge it, that part of you. So we're going to move into light language now. I'm going to do the activation, the healing part for you. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about a part of yourself, an aspect, a goal, a dream, a label, an identity that you cling on to. And you'll know what I mean when I say cling on to, because there's a neediness, a desperation about this aspect or goal that you assume defines you. And I want you to just bring it up. You might see it, you might feel it, or you might just think about it. So go ahead now, close your eyes, because we're beginning. I just want you to think about it. If you can't think of anything, pause here until you get that dream goal aspect or identity, and then begin again. Bring it out. Call it up. Feel it. Paranina kikire pokoro areshitik ikinya nanakire. Paranina tikire. Aratia pokoro areshiti ikira mananakare. Intare nina kire. Urure ashitare ikira. Aranina kiire. Uru inana. Areire kianana. And all I want you to do is practice breathing all the way down, down, down to your navel, and release. Breathing in again all the way down. And release. One more deep breath in all the way down to the navel again. And release. Now find your own rhythmic breath. Your breath is the machine that moves the energy. Your mind, your thoughts, your intention is the direction of the energy, whether receiving or pushing away, directing. I want you to imagine connecting your breath to this part of you. It doesn't matter whether it's an aspect, an identity, a label, a dream, or a goal. I'm just going to call it this part of you. And I just want you to acknowledge it. Kuru, kuru are kire, taranina kirare, porukare, porukare, irapakare, intare nina kire, intare uru. Uru puri ashatari ikira, aranina kira, arananaka are puru. Puru ara ikira, aratarina nanakarire. And I want you to imagine this part of you before you. It might be a specific color or shape. It might be a wave or still. Doesn't matter how you connect with it. But I want you to imagine breathing your breath into it. Koro inakare ikire ukoro arati ikinya pakare iraya. Uru ina nanaka are itiri ikia pa are ina nanatare. Paranina kire ikira manatare. And this might be the first time this part of you, this aspect, feels held, feels acknowledged. And we're just going to surround it so it doesn't feel isolated. Bukuru are ikira para ikiri buru, are tikira mana, using your breath. Breathe into this aspect, this part of you. Kuru ina nanakare, kare ikire buru, are ina nanaka are ire, buru tare ikira, buru ina tare, tare kira ikira, are ina, ira ikira bukuru. And each breath is changing its color, its shape. Parts of it, like gold dust, are coming off it and just moving out into the ether, dissipating. And for some, it will start to dissolve and disappear. For others, it will adapt and change in color. And then a brand new aspect, color, starts to form, taking the place of where the old one was. It changes, it shifts in alignment with who you are now, who you are today. I want you to acknowledge this shift of this part that's outside of you. Kurukia nanamanatare, ira kira pukuru, inananakari ikira, taranina pukuru, are, uru, ira kia pukuru, are, inanana. See a beautiful blue flame within this part. Akarina, tikira, creating this transformation, this beautiful transformation just for you. Oruina nanamada kire, tira, ana kareu koruila. Paranina tire, paranana kire, are, ira pokuru ina nanana. Now take this part in your hand and place it somewhere in your body that feels right for you. That is the perfect location within your body to receive it. This new, shifted, transformed aspect, part, goal, or dream of yourself. Place it on your body and keep your hand there as your body receives it. And breathing in to the palm of that hand, connecting with that part of you. And as you exhale, releasing it into your body. Kurukia manatari ikire, oro parish krietare, ira kuru, are ina pa are, ira kia, taranina tikia, taranina, ira kia. And just allow it to settle, taking it all the way in. And just observing how your body feels now. Appreciating what's different. As you've just created an energetic shift within yourself. A change. And allow yourself to experience the emotions. Even if there's a bit of sadness, there'll be joy coming through with that sadness. And using your breath to fully reconnect with your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes and welcome back. And that is a mini soul session for you. I hope you enjoyed it. You can use this over and over again. And if you'd like to do more of a spiritual growth and journey together, join me for soul sessions. It's twice a month. And you can do them in your own time, at your own pace, feeling supported and expanding your consciousness in all the areas that suit and are right for you. Enjoy.